Every human life is shaped not only by the things we do, but by the words we speak. Words are more than sounds. They are containers of power, carriers of life, and builders of destiny. When you open your mouth, you are not simply describing your reality. You are creating it. What you repeatedly declare sets the boundaries for your future. You may not realize it, but every sentence that comes from your lips is either laying bricks for a palace of success or digging trenches for a pit of limitation. That is the power of words. Think about it. Nations have risen and fallen on the strength of words. Revolutions have begun not with weapons, but with speeches. Families are built or destroyed because of the words exchanged within the walls of a home. Words give shape to identity. When a child hears, "You are loved, you are gifted, you are capable," their mind begins to carry that identity into adulthood. When they hear the opposite, their growth is stunted by invisible chains. The tongue is small, but it has the ability to create atmospheres that either nourish destiny or suffocate it. Most people underestimate this truth because words feel intangible. They vanish into the air, so we assume they carry no weight. But words don't disappear, they take root. Every phrase you speak sinks into your subconscious and begins to shape your beliefs. Those beliefs influence your habits. Habits shape character, and character defines destiny. So when you speak, you are not just talking, you are planting seeds that grow into the garden you will live in tomorrow. If you are not careful with the seeds you scatter, you may wake up in a harvest you never wanted. There are people who wonder why they can never break free from cycles of failure, yet their language is filled with defeat. They say things like, "I'll never get ahead," "People like me don't succeed," or "Nothing ever works out." With every confession, they tighten the chains around their future. The tragedy is not that circumstances are against them. The tragedy is that their own mouths are working against them. They are authoring a story of failure with their own vocabulary. But the reverse is also true. When you choose words of life, you partner with the future you desire. If you begin to declare, "I am capable, I am growing, I am blessed, I am favored," you begin to rewrite the script of your life. Your mind starts to align with those truths. Your actions adjust, your attitude shifts, and opportunities respond. You literally call things into existence through speech. You don't need to wait for evidence to speak it. You speak it until evidence shows up. The tongue is like a rudder steering the entire ship of your life. If you want to change your direction, change your declaration. You can't separate speech from identity. The words you say most often reveal who you believe you are. If you call yourself weak, insecure, unlucky, that identity will govern your choices. But if you call yourself strong, wise, and destined for greatness, your spirit rises to meet those words. That's why you must become the guardian of your own mouth. Never allow your lips to confirm defeat, even in moments of struggle. Your mouth should always testify to the future you are walking into, not the struggle you are walking through. One of the greatest mistakes people make is waiting until they feel successful before speaking success, or waiting until they feel confident before declaring confidence. They don't realize that feelings are followers, not leaders. Words are the leaders. Speak it first, and feelings will catch up later. Speak health until your body aligns with it. Speak provision until resources begin to flow. Speak peace until chaos bows down. The atmosphere of your life bends to the authority of your words. When you understand this principle, you stop being careless with conversation. You no longer say things just to pass time. You measure your speech because you know every phrase is a prophecy. Every sentence is a seed. What you are saying today you will meet again tomorrow. That's why the most powerful thing you can do for your destiny is to master your tongue. If you don't like the direction your life is going, don't just work harder, speak differently. Because when you speak differently, you will eventually live differently. Would you like me to move on and expand Keynote 2 into another 700+ word section in the same style? Faith is not something that magically appears in your life. It does not fall out of the sky or arrive without effort. Faith is built layer upon layer, word upon word, until it becomes a fortress in your spirit. Most people believe that hearing truth is enough, but hearing is only the beginning. You can sit in a room full of wisdom, listen to great messages, and nod your head in agreement, yet still walk away unchanged. That is because faith does not mature by passive listening, it matures by active speaking. When you hear a truth once, it touches your mind. But when you speak it again and again, it sinks into your heart. Repetition engraves conviction into your spirit. Speaking truth out loud transforms it from a concept into a conviction, from a theory into a reality. The moment you begin to put words of faith on your own lips, you activate a process that no one else can do for you. You are building your inner world with your own voice. That is why faith comes by speaking, not just hearing. Consider how a person learns anything deeply. A child memorizes not by hearing the lesson once, but by reciting it until it becomes second nature. An athlete sharpens skill not by watching someone else, but by repeating the motion until it is automatic. In the same way, the spirit learns truth not by hearing it once, but by confessing it until it becomes part of your identity. If all you do is hear, the seed rests on the surface. But when you speak it, you water the seed. You give it the chance to take root and grow strong. That is why so many live with shallow faith. They consume words of wisdom but never reproduce them. They hear about courage but keep confessing fear. They hear about abundance but keep declaring lack. They hear about destiny but keep repeating doubt. Their faith is weak not because they lack exposure, but because they lack expression. Faith doesn't just enter your ears, it must exit your mouth to take root in your spirit. Every time you speak truth, you reinforce it within yourself. You might begin timidly, barely believing the words you are saying, but if you keep declaring them, something begins to shift. At first, it feels unnatural, like wearing clothes that don't fit. But over time, your spirit grows into the confession. You begin to carry yourself differently. You begin to act in line with what you say. Before long, the words no longer sound foreign. They sound like the truest expression of who you are becoming. This is why it is so important not to stay silent in the face of doubt, fear, or insecurity. Silence allows lies to echo louder in your mind. If you don't counter them with spoken truth, those lies will dominate your thinking. But when you open your mouth and declare what you believe, you silence the lies. You drown them out with words of faith until they lose their power. Speaking truth is like drawing a line in the sand. Every time you declare it, you refuse to cross back into the territory of doubt. Faith grows by exercise, not by observation. The more you confess, the stronger it becomes. At first, you may only whisper declarations of strength when no one else is around. But as faith grows, you find yourself speaking them boldly, even in the face of opposition. Your voice carries weight because your heart believes every word. And once your heart believes, your life begins to align with your confession. Think of the greatest breakthroughs in history. They were not achieved by people who quietly held beliefs in their minds, but by those who declared them aloud. Words spoken with conviction have always been the fuel for change. The same is true in your personal life. If you want faith that moves mountains, you cannot remain silent. You must speak until your spirit vibrates with certainty. Hearing truth is like lighting a spark. Speaking it is like fanning it into flame. If you only hear, the spark dies out quickly. But if you speak again and again, the flame grows until it becomes a fire that cannot be ignored. That fire is what carries you through storms, through obstacles, and through seasons of waiting. It is not borrowed faith from someone else. It is your own, built word by word, declaration by declaration. So never underestimate the discipline of speaking. It may feel repetitive. It may feel unnecessary. But every declaration is building your future. Every spoken truth is reinforcing your faith. And every confession is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Faith is not sustained by silence. It is sustained by speech. What you boldly declare today will be the reality you walk into tomorrow. Would you like me to expand Keynote 3 next as another 700 words in the same style, so the full script can keep flowing smoothly? Every environment is shaped by words before it is filled with actions. The atmosphere you live in today was first designed by what you allowed yourself to say yesterday. Confession is not just about personal belief. It is the tool that sets the temperature of your environment. If your words are cold with doubt, fear, and negativity, then the world around you will eventually reflect the chill. But if your words are warm with hope, expectation, and determination, then your environment begins to radiate possibility. Your confession acts like a thermostat. It regulates the climate of your mind, your home, your relationships, and even your opportunities. You may walk into a situation where conditions are harsh and opposition surrounds you, but your words have the power to transform how that environment responds to you. When you declare peace, even in chaos, you create a zone where anxiety cannot thrive. When you declare strength, even in weakness, you create a zone where defeat cannot settle. Your confession is the invisible architect building the stage where your life is performed. Many people underestimate this because they think words are private, but words are never truly private. Every word spoken sends out an echo that affects how you think, how others perceive you, and how circumstances align around you. Imagine someone who constantly says, "I can't do this," or "nothing ever works out." Eventually, not only do they believe it, but those around them begin to accept it as truth. Their environment adjusts to accommodate failure. On the other hand, when someone says, "I will overcome this," or "there is always a way forward," that energy reshapes the atmosphere. Suddenly, people see them differently. Opportunities open up because their words created an environment of possibility. Think about the environments where greatness has been born. They were not always ideal, but words made them fertile. Some of the most successful people came out of broken, limited backgrounds. What made the difference was not the environment they were born into, but the environment they chose to build through their confession. They refused to let their words agree with their circumstances. Instead, they spoke what they desired until their surroundings had no choice but to reflect it. They did not allow their environment to define their confession. They allowed their confession to redefine their environment. Every relationship you are in right now is also influenced by the words you use. A marriage can thrive, or depending on the confessions exchanged between two people. A household can become a place of growth or a place of tension, depending on whether words spoken are encouraging or destructive. Even your friendships, your workplace, your community, all of these environments rise or fall to the level of your confession. If your words are consistently filled with doubt and criticism, do not be surprised if your surroundings mirror negativity. But if you speak words of encouragement, faith, and vision, your environment begins to nurture life and growth. Confession also shapes the atmosphere of your inner world. Your thoughts are like rooms, and your words furnish them. If your confession is small, fearful, or defeated, you decorate your inner environment with limitations. You make it difficult to think big, to dream boldly, or to expect better. But when your confession is bold, affirming, and full of vision, you furnish your mind with the resources to imagine possibilities others cannot see. Suddenly, you are not limited by what is around you. You are empowered by what is within you. This is why some people seem to walk with light, even in dark places. They may be surrounded by challenges, but their confession creates an atmosphere that lifts them above it. Others may be in favorable conditions yet still carry heaviness because their confession darkens the room. It is not just where you are that matters. It is what you are saying while you are there. If you want to change your environment, start with your confession. Don't wait for everything around you to become perfect before you begin to speak life. Speak it first, and the environment will shift in response. Declare that your home is filled with peace until peace becomes the dominant atmosphere. Declare that your workplace is a place of growth until growth takes root. Declare that your life is surrounded by opportunity until doors begin to appear. You are not a prisoner to the environment you see. You are a builder of the environment you create. Words are powerful enough to set the stage for transformation. What you confess consistently will either build walls that trap you or doors that release you. The environment of your tomorrow is hidden in the words you choose to speak today. Your confession is never wasted. It is always working, always shaping, always constructing the atmosphere where your destiny will live. Would you like me to continue and expand Keynote 4 into another 712 words in the same style so you'll have the full flow for your script? Every transformation begins with a word. You don't become great first and then start speaking greatness. You speak greatness first, and in time, you grow into it. Becoming is not a moment, it is a process. And that process is fueled by your mouth. What you consistently declare over your life becomes the track your destiny runs on. Your words go ahead of you, clearing paths, opening doors, and creating a blueprint that your life begins to follow. Many people make the mistake of waiting until they feel ready, until they have evidence, until circumstances look favorable before they start speaking differently. But that is not how transformation works. If you wait until you feel like you've already arrived, your words will always lag behind your potential. Becoming does not start with proof. It starts with prophecy. You declare what you have not yet seen, and in time, what you have declared begins to manifest. That is how alignment between speech and becoming works. When you begin to speak, you are not lying about who you are announcing who you are becoming. There is a difference between deception and declaration. Deception tries to pretend something is real without process. Declaration recognizes the gap but chooses to close it by faith. When you say, "I am strong," even while you feel weak, you are not ignoring your weakness. You are aligning your life with the strength you are growing into. When you say, "I am successful," even while struggling, you are not denying the struggle. You are aligning yourself with the success that is on its way. Words are the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. This alignment is powerful because it reprograms the mind. Every human being has an inner dialogue, and that dialogue either keeps you bound, or propels you forward. If your internal language is filled with defeat, your actions will shrink to match it. But if your inner dialogue is filled with victory, Even when nothing outside of you looks victorious, your actions will rise to meet the words you speak. Over time, what you keep saying becomes what you keep doing. And what you keep doing shapes who you are becoming. Imagine a sculptor working on a block of marble. The finished statue already exists in his mind before his hands ever touch the stone. Every strike of his tool is guided by the image he has already declared within himself. That is how speech works for your destiny. Your words are the image in your mind, and your daily actions are the strikes that chip away everything that doesn't belong. You don't become by accident. You become by alignment. And alignment begins when you allow your mouth to speak what your spirit already knows is possible. Becoming through speaking also requires persistence. At first, your words may feel like they are bouncing back empty. You may speak for days, weeks, even months, without seeing immediate change. But every time you speak, you are laying another brick. Every declaration is building a structure inside of you. One day, the environment around you catches up with the environment within you, and people call it sudden success. But it was never sudden. It was spoken all along. There is a mystery to this truth. You will never rise above the level of your confession. You cannot consistently call yourself small and then live a big life. You cannot declare fear daily and then expect to walk boldly into destiny. Your becoming will always align with your speaking. So if you want to shift your becoming, you must first shift your speech. Speak higher and you will rise higher. Speak stronger and you will grow stronger. Speak possibilities and impossibilities will shrink. This is why visionaries are often misunderstood. They speak of realities that have not yet appeared. They declare what seems impossible in the present. People may laugh or criticize because they cannot see it, but the visionary knows that speaking precedes becoming. They are willing to sound foolish for a season in order to live fruitful in the future. And eventually, what they kept declaring becomes undeniable reality. So never be afraid to speak words that seem larger than your current condition. Those words are not empty. They are seeds of your becoming. Keep watering them with repetition. Keep aligning your actions with your declarations. Keep holding your tongue to the standard of your destiny, not your difficulty. The more your words align with who you are becoming, the more your becoming will align with the destiny planted inside of you. Do you want me to now write the conclusion of the entire script A, bringing all 4 keynotes together into one powerful closing in the same style? Everything you have heard points back to one undeniable truth. Your life will always move in the direction of your words. The power of words shapes your destiny. Faith is not sustained by silence. It is built by what you continually declare. Your confession doesn't just change how you think. It creates the environment you live in. And ultimately, what you speak is what you become, because your becoming will always align with your speaking. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not bound by the limits of your past. You have been given a tool so powerful, so transformative, that it can rewrite your future one declaration at a time. That tool is your tongue. If you want a new life, start with new words. If you want freedom, start declaring it. If you want peace, start confessing it. If you want success, start speaking it into the atmosphere until your environment shifts and your actions align. Do not wait for conditions to be perfect before you start speaking differently. Do not wait for people to agree before you affirm your destiny. Do not wait until you feel it before you declare it. Speak it now, speak it consistently, speak it with conviction, and keep speaking it until your life mirrors your confession. Because every word you release is not just a sound, it is a seed. And every seed, when nurtured, will produce a harvest. Your harvest tomorrow is hidden in your words today. So guard your mouth, measure your confession, and fill your atmosphere with life. Speak it until you see it. Speak it until you believe it. Speak it until you become it.